Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
the most spectacular upset in boxing history. Cassius Clay, the new world's heavyweight champion. Sonny Liston, badly beaten, unable to answer the bell for the 7th round. Yet hardly anyone had believed Clay when, before the fight, he said,
"I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
You might be young and handsome, but you won't be after I finish with you.
If you like to lose your money, be a fool and bet on Sonny."
I'm pretty sure people's not a fool to bet on you. They have to be a fool and bet on me.
You're 40 years old if a day, and you don't belong in the ring with Cassius Clay.
No, I shouldn't, because it'd be a disgrace to see let the people see me kill you like I am.
The odds should be 3.5 to 1 that you won't show up for the fight.
The odds should be 10 to nothing that you don't last for the first round.
This is about a little girl who wanted to see the fight. You know, this is the greatest fight of all time. Children this small want to see it. So this little girl was talking to mother the day of the fight. She says, "Mommy, may I go to a convention hall instead of out to play and witness the great annihilation caused by Cassius Clay?" "No, baby, no, you may not go, for the crowd will be fierce and wild. Gambling and betting, winning and losing, isn't good for little child." "But mother, I won't be alone. Other children will be with me. Cassius says that he is the greatest, and we all would like to see." "Okay, darling, you may go, but come right home after the show." When she got to the fight, it was really great. Sonny Liston fell as predicted in 8. And as the people left the fight, you could hear them say, "This kid is a legend, that Cassius Clay."
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cassius Marcellus Clay. He's young, he's handsome.
They know it.
He's a poet, a prophet, and many people believe he'll be the next heavyweight champion of the world. Cassius, can I ask you how you're feeling now at this point of your training?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to go to war right now.
Well, when you say you're ready to go to war right now...
If I see that barrel in the street, I'll beat him before the fight.
You'd actually take him on before the fight?
Beat him like I'm his daddy.
I saw Sonny Liston a few days ago, Cassius.
Ain't he ugly? He's too ugly to be the world's champ. The world's champ should be pretty like me.
Well, he told me to bet my life that you wouldn't go 3 rounds.
Well, if you want to lose your money, then bet on Sonny.
Oh, may I ask you
Because
this?
I'll never lose a fight. It's impossible. Tell him. It's impossible.
Never lost a fight in your life.
Ask any of my fans when was the last time they lost. I'm too fast.
Champion from
I'm
the
the
crib.
king. Born the champ.
Born the champ from the crib. Ah!
I may ask you this. The odds are 3.5 to 1 in favor of Sonny Liston. Could you tell me what your reaction to those
Well,
odds
I don't
are?
know nothing about the odds. I don't know nothing about the gamblers or the bettors or the gangsters or nothing. All I'm going to do is put that bear on the floor, and after the fight, I'm going to build me a pretty home, and you may use him for a bearskin rug.
Well,
People think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm serious. I've had 200 amateur fights, won all of them. 22 professional fights, won them all, knocked out 15, and told the clown what round he was going down.
well, could you do this for me? Could you tell me, does Sonny Liston's ability to compare to anybody you've fought?
Well, I make this prediction. This will be the biggest upset in all fighting history, and this will be the easiest fight of my life. The bum is too slow. He can't keep up with me. I'm too fast. He's old. I'm young. He's ugly, I'm pretty. It's just impossible for him to beat me. And as far as his ability is concerned, I know nothing about his ability. And as a matter of fact, I've never seen him fight once with Floyd Patterson, and that wasn't no fight, that was a rabbit hunt.
Cassius, I told Sonny Liston a few days ago that you were 1.5 inches taller than he was, and he told me that he would never know because he'd be looking down at you laying on the
Sonny
floor.
Liston is telling you all of this jive and this trash. Don't you believe a thing he's saying about he's going to lay me on the floor. Sonny Liston is training harder for this fight than any fight in the past. Right. He knows I'm great. He's no fool. He went to school. He's cool.
Could you tell me, what is your prediction on the fight?
I predict that he will go in 8 to prove that I am great. And if he want to go to heaven, I'll get him in 7. He'll be in a worse fix if I cut it to 6. And if he keeps talking jive, I'll cut it to 5. And if he makes me sore, he'll go like Archie Moore. And if that don't do, I'll cut it to 2. And if he run, he'll go in 1. And if he don't want to fight, he should keep his ugly self home that night.
Do you think he'll show up for the fight?
Well, yeah, he'll show up. If he don't show up, I'll still be rich because I'm taking out $1 million insurance policy on it.
What percentage of the fans who are coming to see you fight Sonny Liston, what percentage of the fans do you feel will be coming to see him, and what percentage do you feel will be coming to see you?
Well, 100% will be coming to see me, but 99% will be coming to see me get beat.
Do you really feel that?
Because they think I talk too much. But well, I got these.
And they represent your thinking?
These represent dynamite. There he is. Jim, I have some films for you. You're going to witness the greatest amateur fight of all time. 2-time national Golden Glove champion, 2-time national AAU champion, and 1960 World Olympic gold medal winner in Rome. I have highlights of all of those fights, and I want you to see them. I'm not only the world's greatest pro or the next champ, but I was the greatest amateur, and a lot of people don't know that. And I would love for you to see a few of my amateur fights.
Well, I'd love to see them, Cassius. Can you put it on?
The greatest amateur that ever lived. You watch this close. When I fought Jimmy Jones, Chicago Stadium was sold out that night. We had about 19,000 people that night, 18 or 19,000 people. And this was the finals for the United States Golden Glove Championship. Jimmy Jones is a tall fella, about 1.5 inches taller than me. And he had a lot of straight, fast left jabs. He was about 22 years old. I was 17 years old. And my speed beat him. I did a lot of footwork, a lot of dancing, a lot of moving in and out. He finally got tired, and in the 3rd round, I beat him. But the first 2 were close. I won, but the 3rd round, I really beat him, and that won me the fight.
I saw this fight with Frank Maynard. The thing I remember was how fast you were punching at the end of the fight. Some hard punches.
In the Olympic tryouts, I fought Allen Hudson. That was the biggest fight I had here in the United States. That was for the United States Olympic Championship, and the winners later went on to Rome. And naturally, I was the winner. I went on to Rome and won the World Amateur Championship. But this particular fight with Allen Hudson, was for the United States Light Heavyweight Golden Glove Championship, and I knocked him out in the 3rd round. He was a bad, fast left hooker. He was knocking out everybody with left hooks.
Wow, I see what you mean.
He was about 23 years old. I was 18, but my left jabs were too fast for him. My in and out footwork was too fast for him, and he just couldn't master my speed.
Hudson looks as though he's out on his feet. He went down without being hit. He's really dizzy. This is when you fought Petrokowski in Rome.
Yeah, that was in the Olympics. He was a Polish fella, I think. He was real strong. The first round was close, but I won it. The 2nd round was close, and I won it. The 3rd round, he tired, and I hit him with a lot of body punches and a lot of straight left jabs. That's my best punch. I kept punching him with straight left jabs, and I knew that would be the World's Championship if I beat him. He was my last fight. And finally, I got to him and decisioned him in the 3rd round.
What happened in this fight, Cassius?
Well, when I fought George Logan in Los Angeles, we had another sellout house that night. You know, I'm so great. Everywhere I go, I sell out the place. We had about 21,000 people there that night in Los Angeles Sport Arena. George Logan was a Rocky Marciano type fighter. He was real strong, a lot of left hooks and a lot of body punches. And he liked to fight in close, and the only time that he would hit me is when he would maneuver me into a close position. But I kept my distance that night as usual, and I fired a lot of left jabs and a lot of body punches and right crosses and left hooks, a lot of dancing, a lot of footwork. Predicted that I would get George Logan in 4 that night, and I did get him in 4 just as I predicted.
His corner threw in the towel.
When I fought Archie Moore in Los Angeles, that was a sellout crowd that night. I think the Los Angeles Sport Arena, we had 20,000 people, 21 or 22,000 people, and Archie Moore was an old man, nothing to really brag about beating him.
I remember Liston shaking hands with everybody that night. He had just won the title 6 weeks before.
I was really shooting a lot of left jabs that night and right hand crosses, uppercuts and hooks, and Moore's a great fighter. He had a lot of his old moves. He could duck, and he could fake a left jab, pretend he's going to throw it, but don't throw it, and trick it with a right hand. He had a sharp left hook. 10, 20 years ago, I really couldn't predict what would happen, but that night I predicted that Moore would go in 4, and before a sellout crowd, I surprised the world that night. I got him in 4.
I had a ringside seat at this fight, Cassius. You were really sharp that night. I don't remember you getting hit with a solid punch during the entire 4 rounds. It looks as though Moore kept you pretty busy.
No, I was doing a lot of footwork, a lot of moving in and out that night, shooting left jabs, right crosses, a lot of feint. We had to do everything because Moore's tricky, and he's been known to upset a lot of young fellas.
What was your strategy here, Cassius?
I knew I came out the 4th round tense, knowing that that was the round that I had predicted that I would get him in, and everybody was waiting to see it. And Sonny Liston was there with his big ugly self, so I had to look extra good to let him know that I wasn't a pushover. I came out that round shooting a lot of left jabs, body combinations, left hooks, right crosses, dancing in and out, circle to my left, circle to my right, stick and move, jab, and he threw a few sharp right hands. But I hit him with about 5 or 6 left hooks, a few right crosses, and took him down.
You really have him in trouble.
I knocked him down about twice, and it ended the fight in 4.
It just exactly is the way you predicted.
That's right. I'm the greatest.
This is Sonny Liston, the heavyweight champion of the world, and reputed to be the hardest hitter in the heavyweight division since Joe Louis. Sonny, I just watched you work out for about an hour, and you look like you're ready to fight giants. How do you feel?
Feel very good.
Well, how much road work have you been doing?
I've been doing 6 miles.
6 miles a day?
Yeah.
You think that's enough?
Well, I'm only trying to catch him, not to set in a track record.
I see. Well, now, some of the things that Cassius Clay has been saying, for example, yesterday he said when Liston fights Cassius the Great, everyone will compliment him for falling in 8. Do you have anything to say about that?
The only thing I can say, don't get your tickets late. If they're waiting on, it's only in the 1st round, they might miss it.
Well, do you think it'll end in 2?
Well, you can bet your life it ain't going 4.
I'd like to get your opinion, Sonny, on what you feel Cassius Clay has as far as the area of ability. How would you compare Cassius to, say, Cleveland Williams?
Well, I can't compare him yet. I had never have fought Clay yet, but I could say if talking was a fight, he done won this one. I can't. Ain't no use of me going in.
I see. Well, and in other words, you can't compare his ability. Could you compare what you've seen on film to, say, Eddie Machen's boxing?
Well, I would say that he was type of fighter that Eddie Machen is.
I see. You mean that as far as his boxing goes?
Yes.
Do you think you're going to chase him all over the ring, or do you think he's going to stand there and fight?
No, I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to have to chase him a little bit, but at the meantime, I done got, I think, a little smarter than I was when I fought Machen.
Well, Cassius Clay said that you were 45 years old and that you don't belong in the same ring with him.
I imagine I don't, because I'm just that much better than he is.
Well, tell me, are you surprised at the odds of 3.5 to 1? Most of the experts felt that the odds when they came out, they'd be favored Liston 8 to 1, 9 to 1, but apparently Clay and some of the things he's been saying have brought the odds down to 3.5 to 1. Were you surprised at those odds?
No, I wasn't. I was looking for the odds to be 10 to nothing that he don't show up. Joe?
Hello, Joe Louis. How are you?
Fine, how you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Louis, former heavyweight champion of the world and reputed to be one of the finest fighters in the history of the division. Joe, you've seen Cassius Clay fight?
Yes, I have. I've seen box in California, saw him box once in New York.
And you've seen Sonny Liston fight?
I have saw him box also.
May I get your opinion on what might happen in the night of the contest?
Well, I think it should be a good fight. I don't think that the people see a bad fight because, as you know, Clay is a good boxer. Liston is a good puncher. I always like to stalk his man all the time, so I think it was an excellent fight.
Well, do you think that Clay will employ the tactics that he has with other fighters? In other words, he stabs and runs and stabs and runs and he waits until...
I think they will see a type of fight from Clay.
This is your buddy, and he's called the shot that way. His opinion doesn't necessarily coincide with yours. What do you feel about that?
Well, just like he used to say, he can run, but he can't hide.
Well, do you think Clay is going to do a little running?
Yes, I look for him to run.
Sonny, you've been quoted as saying that Cleveland Williams hit you harder than any other fighter that you fought. Is that true?
Well, I would say I think so.
Can you recall anything that happened in that fight that would stand out in your memory?
Well, like the only thing I can remember is that Cleveland had a good first round and a terrible second round.
Well, what was this good first round like?
Well, it was a lot of doubt in people's mind, was I going to answer the bell for the second?
And eventually, what happened in the second round?
Well, I gave him a little of his own medicine back, and he couldn't take it.
hit you with some good punches?
Yes, I think Cleveland hit me with his best shots in the first round. Tell you the truth, I think he kicked me too.
What do you think was going through your mind here?
And my trainer told me as I came back to my corner, says I was giving him too much punching room. Either I had to get in close on him and stay in on him. I told my trainer, I said, either that we have to get out of here.
I hate to get hit with one of those Cleveland Williams left hooks. Boy, that was a great sequence of punches.
Well, I felt it wasn't no use to me waiting around because I might not be around for the third. If I go to another second round like I did the first round.
The referee stepped in there and halted it. There you are in the white trunks. What happened in this fight, Sonny?
Well, when I fought Griffith in the Golden Gloves, I didn't have too much experience, but I felt that anything you go to do, you have to do your best and be the best at it. So the night me and Griffith fought, I did my best and I won it.
Do you remember whether he hit you with any good punches, or is it too far back?
Well, I would say that Griffith hit me with pretty good shots. When I fought Wayne Mathieu, I had heard about how Wayne Mathieu holds you and bulls you around, and so I told my trainer I don't think that he would bully me around. So in the first round, he didn't. From the opening bell, I took over and I showed Wayne Mathieu that I was the boss and held him to it and knocked him out in the first round. When I fought Roy Harris, I remember a newspaper guy came up to me and says, aren't you afraid of Roy Harris getting a hometown decision? And I told the guy, says, if it be a decision, you can give it to Roy Harris. I didn't want to have him decide whether I won the fight or not. So I just went on and got it over with quick.
Wow, what a left.
I don't think there's no heavyweight in the world could beat me today.
Late in 1963, Cassius Clay signed to fight Sonny Liston for the heavyweight championship of the world.
If he wants me, you tell this to your camera, your TV man, your radio man, and you right there in the whole world. If Sonny Liston whoops me, I'll kiss his feet in the rain. I'm crawl out of the ring on my knees, tell him he's the greatest, and catch the next jet out of the country. That's what I think about Sonny Liston.
I'm the greatest. That's why it's the biggest in all history, because I'm here. I don't need no title fight. I'm rich already. Anywhere I go, I draw a sellout crowd. I don't need nobody. They need me. You're lucky you're looking at me in person. What y'all do? Can I leave?
Hey, where's the mean gross? You want Clay? Clay, so you look the same when I get through with I want you to look and now that we done signed,
Don't you touch me.
bring the picture now.
And you might not say.
This is presented to Cassius Clay from Sonny Liston.
Okay. That's what's happening.
Don't hurt your hand.
You the king of the ring. The king of the ring. From the Barnes from the crib. One thing. Watch this. What you gonna do? One more time. Watch this.
Liston always trains to a rhythm and blues record, which he plays over and over and over. On the punching bag, Clay likes to vary his rhythm. Liston is like a machine. He never misses a beat. Clay spars with Tony Alonji, one of the ranking heavyweights of the division. The challenger works on his boxing and his speed of foot. When the record stopped, Liston continued to skip rope for 9 consecutive minutes. It's the morning of February 25th, the day of the big fight. Now we'll see the craziest weigh-in in all boxing history. Over 400 people were present, including every prominent boxing writer from 17 countries and representatives of the major television and radio networks. But not one could believe his eyes or ears as Clay's conduct, to quote many of those present, defied description.
Look like a butterfly stage like a bee.
I'm here with Sugar Ray. Joe Lewis is flat-footed, and Sonny Liston is flat-footed. Sugar Ray and I are two pretty dancers. We can't be.
I'm ready to rumble. I'm the champ.
Even as Liston's weight was being announced at 218 pounds, Clay was still making his presence verbally, if not painfully evident, to the relatively few boxing writers who picked him to win.
I'm ready to rumble. I can't be beat. I'm the champ. I can't be beat. I'm ready to rumble. I can't be beat. I'm the champ.
The champion, seemingly oblivious to the remarks calculated to make him angry, calmly attempts to neutralize the challenger's screaming by a simple raising of 2 fingers, indicating to the press the number of rounds he intends to allow Clay to function from a standing position. As Clay's weight of 210.5 pounds was being announced, Cassius was simultaneously announcing to Liston all of the terrible things that were going to happen to the champion that evening in the ring. After listening to Clay screaming for better than half an hour, the commissioned doctor, as well as many people present, thought Clay's performance was the result of his being terrified at the thought that he would actually face Liston this night. Just prior to the fight, Clay predicts Liston will fall in 8. However, Liston says round 2 will be the finale.